Jon Heyman, MLB insider, joining us leading the league in information. Jon, looking fresh and fit in the better climate of South Florida these days. So let's talk about this Lindor thing as it relates to his staying there for a long time. If the Padres, and we'll get into this, are ready to start the number on Tatis with a 3, if the first number on the Trout extension started with a 4, what kind of number are we talking about to keep Lindor a Met for the rest of time?
Hey, Matt, and first, sorry about not getting that swag from Worcester. I know you're disappointed about that, but it's going to be big money. There's no question about that. The Mets have every expectation to get this done. I think everybody around baseball feels that the Mets are very likely to get this done. This trade is great from New York. Everybody's excited about Steve Cohen being the owner, but they will really be excited if they can sign Francisco Lindor long term. Now, the Indians offered $200 million plus, more than $200 million. Lindor wanted more than $300 million from the Indians. So we can infer that they were about $100 million apart. Was not going to happen there, obviously. New York can't afford that $300 million if they want to go there. I would suggest at this point, you're right, considering the Betts deal, Trout deal, Lindor is one of the top 10 players in the game. I think it probably will have to start with a 3 or close to 300 to get it done.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me lock in on the financials.
He'll be, what, 27 this year? Is that
27,
right?
correct.
27.
27 season.
If you look at Machado, he was 26, 27. Harper, same thing. That was 300 plus. So he's falling right in that line right there. But we'll see. The only question mark for me would be the environment we're in. We'll have to see how baseball comes back full strength.
Well, the environment we're in didn't hurt the Dodgers from backing up the truck for Mookie Betts.
True.
So if there's a franchise ready to pay the price, I'd say it would be the New York Mets as well outside of L.A. And as it relates to the Mets and further finances, does this re-upping of Lindor have anything to do with their appetite to add more? I'm speaking specifically of George Springer, and if not the Mets, then where is his market?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, it could one move can affect another. So there's no question, could affect Springer. Now, from what we know, the Mets and the Jays are both over $100 million for Springer. So he's doing better than the other free agents from what we know at this point. That's at least publicly. So Springer's doing okay, but the feeling is that he wants something closer to $175 million. We're basically in a standoff with all of the top free agents at this point. Ozuna, we haven't heard much about. Bauer, we kind of know the asking price. Haven't heard much about him. Real Muto, same thing. We think the Phillies have a good chance there. Springer seems to be doing as well or better than any of them. But right now, that Mets situation, as you mentioned, Matt, could affect things. Right now, we think the Jays and the Mets are the main competitors. But, I mean, look, this is a great player for the clubhouse. Very clutch guy. Someone could step in, but at least he's in that 9-figure range already. So he's in pretty decent shape. I still think the Mets have a chance, but it's going to be tight.
Here's the question I have for you regarding the Jays and George Springer. Look, national policy might be a part of the problem there as to whether or not they can sign a player like this. We're led to believe there's a good chance that they might have to start their season playing home games in Dunedin, Florida. So if they can't be in their home ballpark and they can't get people in and out of Canada, that has to affect at least a little bit their ability to add to the payroll. Am I right about that?
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, they've been in on all these guys. They were in on Kim, who went to the Padres, very athletic, shortstop with power. Obviously, he'll play a different position for the Padres, probably super utility. I mean, Toronto has been in on just about everybody. We know they've talked to Bauer as well. They have talked to Real Muto, so they're talking to everybody. And at this point, if they don't sign someone, their fan base is going to be fairly disappointed. But Springer is their main target. That's their main thought right now, that center field is where they're going. If they don't get Springer, they'll probably look at Bradley. But you're right, Matt. The other teams are wondering where they're going to get the money here, because obviously it was a tough year for them last year. They did a great job getting into the playoffs, but to play in Buffalo, their revenues were really hurt, even compared to the other teams.
I think, there's one direction for this show to move in regarding Springer and the Jays. we got to call Hazel tomorrow.
Yeah.
We got to call Hazel May.
Find out what's going on.
Let's find out what's going on and what's
Yes.
going on with her new line of mom wear.
Okay.
She's got a new dress line,
Oh, she
too.
does?
So we got a lot of things to get into
All
with
right.
Hazel. Hey, before we let you go, though, John, we intimated this a moment ago. Fernando Tatis Jr. on the verge of a mega extension. I'm not sure where they're finding the money in America's finest city, but they're finding a lot of it because there's some big-time payroll commitments there, the likes of which that franchise has never, ever kept on the books. Talk about these discussions.
Yeah, it's amazing. You're absolutely right, Matt. I can remember when they couldn't keep Chase Headley, and now they're making trades all over the place. Obviously, Darvish and Snell have come. They have improved more than anybody, even the Mets, to this point. So give A.J. Preller and company credit. Peter Seidler as well, obviously the owner, big part of this, willing to do it. A.J. Preller, from my understanding, has been in the Dominican. So we do think they have begun negotiations, at least with Tatis. It's kind of out there that they're looking at a 10-year deal, maybe more than that. Not sure exactly where the dollars are going to go. I know Pio Deportes reported talking about an 11-year deal for $320 million. That sounds like a lot of money. Mike Trout, at this point, 2 years in, signed 6 years, $144. Now, he did turn down a much longer deal for much bigger bucks at the same time. So it's possible that they are talking about around $300 million. But, boy, that's a lot of money for the Padres. You're absolutely right, Matt.
Man,
And they don't have to do it. Not at this point. They don't have to go that far out because you still have control. Where's he going?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, it's just unbelievable how that team has grown up in such a very short period of time.